This video demonstrates the basic functionality of BitcoinCashClient. BitcoinCashClient is a Nuget package enabling simple integration of on-chain Bitcoin Cash payments into any C#.NET application with internet access. This is a fully non-custodial solution, which means there is no third party between your code and the mainnet Bitcoin Cash blockchain. You can send and receive any amount of money anywhere in the world, instantly and for free, using whatever arbitrary business logic you want to encode into your application. In each of the sections of this video, I will demonstrate how to use BitcoinCashClient to complete some task related to sending or receiving payments, or simply reading wallet data from the blockchain. To begin, let's create a new console application using Visual Studio 2022. We'll call this BitcoinCashClient Demo. And we'll use .NET 6. All right, so our first task is going to be to create a brand new wallet. But before I can do anything, I need to download and install the Nuget package. So let's go ahead and do that. Manage Nuget packages. And we will browse the Nuget library for it. BitcoinCashClient. There it is. We'll install that. Okay, should be good to go. All right, as I said, our first job is to create a wallet. So we're going to use Bitcoin Cash to reference the Nuget library. And then we're going to write 2 lines of code. The first line is going to be to instantiate the client itself. So we'll say var client equals new Bitcoin Cash client. And then the second line will just be to create the wallet. Var wallet equals client.getWallet. And that's it. That's the entire program. If I ran this right now, it would create a valid Bitcoin Cash wallet with a private key and the associated public address. But we wouldn't be able to see it, so let's add a couple of more things to this. First, I'm going to add a simple method called display. This will just take an object, serialize it into JSON, and write it into our console in a pretty fashion. So let's call this method. We'll give it a label new wallet, and we'll pass our wallet object in. We also want to have a moment to look at this, so we will do a read line here. So that the program will pause for a moment so we can take a peek at what we've got. Okay, so that's our application. Let's go ahead and run this and see what we get. Okay, there we go. Here's our new wallet. Obviously, it has a 0 balance with no UTXOs and no value, but you can see that a newly created private key has been displayed and the associated public address. So this is real. This is a real key and a real address, and to prove it to you, I'm going to send some Bitcoin Cash to this address we just created. So let's copy that to the clipboard. Let's pop over to Electron Cash, and we'll say send, paste our address in, and let's send $5. Send. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, payment sent. So let's go have a look. We should still have that on our clipboard, so we'll pop over to a block explorer, paste that in there. And there you have it. Here's our newly created Bitcoin Cash address. First balance received 18 seconds ago, and there's the $5 balance that was that we just sent over. So easy peasy. That's all you have to do to create a new Bitcoin Cash wallet using the Bitcoin Cash client. A couple of quick notes about this. First of all, there is no limitation on this. So you can create as many wallets as you want, as fast as you want. It is instant and free. So the only limitation is your imagination. I will say, though, do be careful to keep and securely store the private keys of any wallets you intend to use for payments. So you generate private keys with this. You need to keep track of those private keys somehow. Lost keys are impossible to recover, so exercise caution. Also, please note that all of the private keys generated by Bitcoin Cash Client are generated on the computer executing the code and are never exposed to the outside world. Obviously, that would be a severe security violation if it were not so. This is an open source project, so I invite you to review the code and verify the truth of this claim for yourself. You can find a link to the repository below this video. All right, so our second task that we want to do is to send some Bitcoin Cash from our newly created wallet. Now, to do this, in order to send Bitcoin Cash from any wallet, you're going to need the private key. So I'm actually going to copy this private key because we are going to need it in just a moment. Okay, so let's close this and make some changes to our code here. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually add the private key to our code. So I'll make a new variable called private key, and I'm just going to put the string that I copied from the previous screen right in here. So there's our new private key. I'm going to, again, create the wallet, but this time I'm going to pass the private key into it. So var wallet equals client.getWallet, private key passed in. There we go. And then we'll just display it again. So our wallet. Okay, so let's see how that goes. Run the application again. And you can see this time the private key was used to generate the public address. So I didn't pass the address in, but because it had the private key, it calculated the public address and used that public address to fetch information about this wallet from the blockchain. So you can see our balance in Satoshis is there, our value in US dollars is right there, and you can see we have our list of UTXOs now populated with our as yet unconfirmed transaction. You can see the block ID is -1, which means this transaction is still waiting in the mempool. But this is Bitcoin Cash, so zero-conf transactions are viable, unlike some blockchains which shall not be named. So we can send this transaction, or we can send transactions from this wallet, even though the transaction hasn't been confirmed yet. So let's do that. So back to our code, we've got our wallet. We'll display wallet pre-send, and then we'll do another one down here. This will be wallet post-send. You'll see why in a few moments. And then what I'm going to do here is just call the send method on the wallet object and tell it where I want this to go. Now, there's one variable that I'm going to need for that, which is going to be the send to address. So I need somewhere that I want to send this Bitcoin Cash to. And I think what I'll do is I'll just send it back to the wallet that sent it in the first place. I'm going to come back to Electron Cash, go to receive, and we'll copy this receiving address, and we'll paste that right in there. So this is where our funds are going to be sent to. All right, so now we can call the send method. We'll do wallet.send. You can see it is going to ask for 3 variables. The first variable is the send to address, so let's go ahead and put that in. The second variable is the amount. We're just going to go ahead and send $1. And then the currency that we're going to, the third variable is what currency we want to send. So it's just going to be 1 Satoshi, 1 Euro, 1 USD. In this case, we are doing USD. So we'll do that. Actually, I need to import the models. Using bitcoincash.models. There we go. Okay, so we can specify US dollars as the currency that we're going to send. Okay, and that's all we need to do. Let's go ahead and run this. There's a wallet pre-send, there's a wallet post-send, and you can see notifications just popped up from Electron Cash that $1 has been received. So let's pop over there and have a look at that. And there it is. We've received 8 1/1000ths of a Bitcoin Cash in our Electron Cash wallet. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so we can also verify that on the Block Explorer. We'll refresh this. And you can see there is the outgoing transaction. For task number 3, we want to do another send. We are going to, rather than sending a specific amount, we are going to send the entire remaining wallet balance. So this is useful if you are managing many wallets for payments and you want to just dump the entire balance of a wallet into a master wallet or something. You can just send the entire amount using a single line of code. So let's do that. So I'm going to remove this line, just make one small change here. Rather than using the send method, I'm going to use the send all method, which requires only one parameter, which is the send to address. Obviously, we don't need to specify an amount if we're sending all, and we don't need to specify the units either for the same reason. Okay, that's the only change needed to make. Let's go ahead and run this and see how it goes. Okay, there's our wallet pre-send and our wallet post-send. Obviously, it's empty after the send all. You can see there's our Electron Cash notification saying that we just received about $4. So if we pop over here, yep, there's our new balance, 0.03. Okay, so that's it. That's all that's involved with sending Bitcoin Cash payments using the Bitcoin Cash client. It really cannot be simpler. All of the complexity of interacting with the Bitcoin Cash blockchain has been abstracted away. You, as the developer, don't need to bother with transaction construction, inputs and outputs, transaction hashes, fee calculations, node handshaking, the broadcasting, nothing. All of that is handled for you behind the scenes. All you have to do is write a few lines of simple code. All right, there's one last feature that I'd like to demonstrate for this video, and it's changing gears a little bit. Rather than creating a wallet or sending funds, we want to do a little bit of just reading from the blockchain. So given a public Bitcoin Cash address, can we retrieve information from the Bitcoin Cash blockchain about that wallet? Obviously the answer is yes, otherwise I wouldn't have brought it up, but let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this code that I've been playing with so far and get back to the beginning where we've got just a client. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new variable for a public address. And here I'm just going to paste an address in that I got from the internet. I picked this address because it is one of the largest Bitcoin Cash addresses in the world, and I also picked it because it has only one UTXO, which will display very nicely on our small screen here. So there's my public address. We're going to again create a wallet, but this is going to be a read-only wallet, and we're going to retrieve it using the address rather than a private key. So we'll call this read-only wallet, and we'll say client.getWalletByAddress, and we'll pass in the public address. And that's it. We'll go ahead and display this again. Here's our read-only wallet, and we'll pass it in there. And there we go. Let's see how that goes. All right, you can see just like that, we've got our information about this wallet. You can see it has quite a sizable balance. It's about almost $31 million worth of Bitcoin Cash. And it all was passed in with one single UTXO. Obviously, we don't have the private key for this wallet. Would that I did. I'd be happy to have $31 million worth of Bitcoin Cash, just handy. But since we don't have the private key, we just display null here. So that concludes the demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Now go build something awesome.